Alright, so there's a topic that I want to speak about only because it's hot. It's hot and trending and on there at the moment, and they brought it up on a Brilliant Idiots when I was listening to that, right? But the whole beef is going on right now between Soulja Boy and Chris Brown. And there's a reason, and so the underlying thing that I want to talk about behind it is that people in general, celebrities more so, have a responsibility to carry themselves in a correct manner, right? To bring up people around them, to set the right example. But the reason I'm using that one in this instance is, I'm like, for real, guys, you've got two celebrities, arguably...
Yeah, I was going to say, what's actually happening?
So you've got the beef going on at the moment where they've come to blows over something that happened over social networking.
Okay.
Now it's escalated to a point where they're saying they're going to box in Vegas. I'm like, seriously? You've got two rappers boxing in Vegas, right? If that's the way you feel that you need to settle your beef, then fine, go about your business. But I'm like, in general, this isn't how you should. This isn't how celebrities and people that children and young adults look up to should be carrying themselves.
What makes no sense is that these guys are established celebrities. They both started when they're both very reasonably young. Chris Brown was 16, Soulja Boy was running about 17. With Soulja Boy, we know the unnoticed dance and everything, and they're claiming gangs. So if you're that rich, why do you want to claim gangs and hoods? I've never understood this thing. Like, if I'm rich and successful, I don't want to be in the hood. I want to get out of it. So my whole thing is, my whole mentality is I want to escape the poverty. But these guys are claiming the poverty and they're going back to the hood. I saw the way went back to Brompton, where he said he's from, he's not actually from there. But he's gone back there, and it's like, why like, you're successful, you got an image to uphold, and you're actually claiming something that's negative, which makes no sense to your white audience. People are looking like, you're successful, you made it, why do you want to go back? And these people are forgetting that they're role models for children. And this
is what I mean. I mean, that's just a current trend. I mean, to be honest, there will be entertainers to watch. I think Chris Brown will probably win it anyway, but that's by the by, because the underlying is, again, celebrities have it slightly differently, but I think in general, everybody's got a responsibility to act as a role model to kids, to young adults, to people around them, to your friends. And I think sometimes people not necessarily forget it, but don't really appreciate it in this day and age. Like, you've got such a audience nowadays on an every daily basis. How you act, really, don't give me talking this great game and then the way you act is completely off. I want to hear somebody who's talking a great game, but acting a great game, and acts as a good role model, one for kind of influenced, like, kind of young adults and children around them, but also for people around them as well. So, like, I've got my favourite quote is poem is "What is your deepest fear?" Right, and the one that most people will know it from Coach Carter probably.
Yeah.
Prior to that, it's actually a poem by Marion Williamson. But the underlying premise of that is, you should never shrink to make people feel comfortable around you. You should always be your best self to bring them up. So in that sense, I think people have a responsibility for the people around them, even as much as their peers.
I think it just comes down to the fact that they don't care. Them two, if we're using Chris Brown and Soulja Boy, I don't know the situation, you guys have just filled me in on it, but they're trying to make themselves relevant again. So they don't really care about what picture they're putting out to kids. They just want to get themselves back in this, and it's sort of doing whatever you need to do by any means necessary. It's a little bit like when people go on Big Brother and they act a fool, but they need to get themselves back in the light to get themselves successful again.
Yeah, I guess to a degree, if you need, like, everybody has it where they've got celebrities who have kind of the pay is dropping down. Yeah. Arguably, I don't think that's so much of an issue in Chris Brown's sense. He's got lots of money in the bank.
So what is he doing then?
Well, I think he's just been drawn. I think in his instance, he's kind of been drawn into it. He is not, I wouldn't say, carrying himself. He's actually, in this, he's not coming off half as badly as Soulja Boy in this. I think he's actually just he's been caught up in it and he's responding to it, so I think it's to less of a degree. But at the same time, you could argue at any point in time, it's one of them has to take responsibility of, actually, this isn't looking good for me, and it's not looking good for kids who are growing up who might look up to me. I think, again, to a degree, more people will look up to Chris Brown, so it's probably better that he's carrying himself in a better manner here.
Right.
But in both instances, they're both in the limelight, and you get it with with a lot of celebrities, you get some who carry themselves with a degree of respect, and they know that they are being watched.
Can that be down to the fact of your team behind you, your advisors, on how
I think it's a bit of team and values all mixed
and how
together.
you act?
It's people. It's what they have around them. Is they have a lot of yes men. So people don't tell them what you're doing is wrong. So people like from Soulja Boy, that most of these people that are his friends are people that he pays. So they want to keep the cash cow happy. Because if he stays happy, he's paying them. Same thing with Chris Brown. He has a lot of yes men around him, so people don't hold him to account. You need to have people hold you to account. Say, hold up, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you actually doing? You need to stop it. And no one's actually doing it to Soulja Boy. What Soulja Boy is doing, he's actually gone on a path where someone's actually going to hurt him. Someone's actually going to like put their hands on him because he's just been a clown. And in a take example, I think most understanding your position is down to people around you. People are reminding you that you have a responsibility out there. And when you don't have that you don't have the correct people around you, you usually have yes men, and they usually tell you what you want to hear.
I think to that degree it becomes, so I think there what you've got is, and we spoke about it before, but I think as you reach any higher level of power, whether it's in business or it's in the celebrity world, you have to have a higher degree of self-awareness in your own mind to know, to be able to start to make people question you. Because I do appreciate you, and we haven't been in that situation, right? But if you're a celebrity, it must be difficult. Where sometimes there are points where you want to be held to account, but you really do need to. That's when you probably need to. I would imagine the people who are best to have around them are the people they've grown up with, who will pull them up if they've got it, as opposed to the entourage they've built up, who have, if they lost all their money tomorrow, these people would disappear because they are the ones who are standing around saying. And I imagine it must be difficult to counter that in. So from their point of view. And it's like with great power comes great responsibility, right? As they elevate up and they're put out there in the world, it becomes even more critical for them to be aware of the way that they're acting because so many people are watching them and so many people and eyes are susceptible to acting in the way that they act.
I just think that more now than ever so before, you should have a higher level of responsibility because there's so much more with regards to the social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of these different things. That, whereas before it may have only been TV and you can maybe get away from them.
But do they? Because I see. So what they're doing out there is just an elevated level of what I see on Facebook amongst people that I know within my own network, saying stuff that antagonises people just to get people to pay attention to them. It's not that they're setting a good role model for themselves. They're just trying to. It's just that dopamine hit. Give me that fix. Somebody like me. Pay attention to me. Like, do you see what I mean? And that's a lower level, but I see it all the time. They say stuff on social media. They just want to create debate. They just want to create controversy. They're not actually trying to be any kind of role model. It's all about, well, this makes me feel better because all of a sudden I've got 50 likes and 20 shares and I've got 101 comments. Where they say something positive, nobody's given them kind of comments. Right? Everybody likes to hear negative, and some people don't like to know it, but people want to hear more negativity and controversy than they want to hear positivity. Which means it takes a higher degree of integrity for you to say, I'm going to stick true to my values and stay, if it's positivity that I'm looking for, I'm going to stick on that route because I know anybody looking up to me or anybody around me will rise themselves up to be around to it, as opposed to saying, I just can't take it. I just need that fix. I need my WhatsApp to go up. I need I need to pick up my phone. I need to leave my phone for so long that when I pick it up, I've got 25 notifications because it makes me feel better. But how many people? The thing is, how many people are actually holding true to that in the world? Because you've got access to things like social media. People find it a lot difficult to stick to their values and really take. I mean, I can count on one hand the amount of people. I'm probably going to piss some people off. I know if they watch this. On one hand, the people are who I consider to be those people who lift me up, and then I've got others who. Don't get me wrong. I've got like a great friend at work, but there are only so many people that will literally hold me to account and pick me up and lift me up when I'm in the wrong. Ben, you need to fix up. And that's what I want. Because, and even when they're around me, I see the way that they're acting. And when I see the way that they're acting, I'll take a look at myself and think, hold on, I'm not living up to where I should be now.
Yeah.
But that's because they're excelling themselves, not because they might see me not excelling to my maximum ability and say, oh, do you know what? When I'm around Ben, I'm going to down talk everything. I'm not going to talk about some of my achievements or some of the things that are going on at the moment because I don't want to make him feel uncomfortable. Do you know what? No. Talk to me about everything that you're doing, which is massive, and make me feel uncomfortable, because my ability to feel uncomfortable is going to give me that kickstart that I need to progress forward.
Yeah. No, because I don't know. It's responsibility to be a role model. Doesn't just does Chris Brown and Soulja Boy have kids? I don't know.
So Chris Brown's got a child.
He's got a child. Soulja Boy not sure.
Not sure.
Because me personally, I just think about my little one. What will she see growing up when she grows up? And I just think that a lot of people now want the quick fix. They want the quick success, and they don't really care how they get there. And they're happy to compromise that side where, you know what, this isn't quite right. I'm going to look a little bit silly, but I don't mind doing it because I'm going to get views. I'm going to get where I need to get to. And I don't think that's quite the right way to go about things.
Well, it's compromising value, right?
Yeah. And when you're setting an example for young people to follow, but I don't know what's right and what's wrong.
I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think for me it's understanding the importance of it. And it goes back to when we were talking about a video on sales. Everybody is their own salesman, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's up to people to project and sell the best version of themselves. So because, so if this is a weird analogy to look at that, right? But if I am laying out, if I'm going to get my product sold in a superstore, then I want to make sure if they're going to put me on the shelf next to £99, £99.99p item, that I'm going to be worth £101.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Because then this item's got to get better. Or this is £150, I'm going to be worth £300. Or if this is £300, I'm going to be worth £600. Always trying to be the absolute best that you can be to make sure that whoever's around you, whether that be your competition or whether that be your friends, are built up and they rise up to meet up to where you are. And not even that, they rise past it. It's almost like, and when it comes to your competition, it's the same thing. Like, you deliver something, they try and deliver something better. That pushes you for something higher. It creates a healthy kind of cycle within the world. But I'm just not sure that I'm seeing enough of it in people out there. I think it's just become a bit too easy for everyone to be like, I'm in a comfort zone, and they have aspirations of I say they have aspirations. They see people that they aspire to be like, but then they don't act in that manner. They don't take the opportunity to surround themselves with the people who will drive them up. Once they get up, they don't take on the responsibility to say, do you know what? I'm going to be that role model for somebody else around me to help bring them up. Yes, they may be resistant to a first time round, but I see them acting in a bad way. I'm going to tell them to kind of fix up, and I'm going to try and bring them up to my level. I'm going to bring them into my circle with people who push me up that will help push them up as well. It's kind of that give take. Like, you've made it a certain point in life, then you looking to bring other people up.
That's exactly what I was just going to follow on with. That's probably a little bit about giving back, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't think that everybody wants to do that. I think some people are
You have to make a conscious effort to do it.
Yeah.
You have to make a conscious effort to that. So actually climb the ladder, that you extend your hand to people below you so they can come up with you. And you give them something to look up to or to aspire to, so then they want to be not likely want to be better than you. So at the same, like, you always have people saying, I don't want you to be just like me, and I want you to be better than me. So I'll give you the tools to be better. And you look at my victories, you also look at my failures, and then you can find a way to maneuver those failures, then you don't experience it, and you can reach a higher point than I've reached. And that's you have to have a conscious effort doing it so you don't kick away the ladder. Because a lot of people, when they become successful, they forget that how they forget about the person that's come underneath them, and then you kick away the ladder and say, okay, I'm not going to help you.
But that's what I mean. I think it comes more from a selfish point that for example, we're talking about being a role model. You get to that point and you're just thinking about yourself rather than my duty to other people.
That's when you have a conscious effort of giving back.
I think it's more. It's not even about feeling a duty, not about feeling a sense of duty. Understanding that there are always eyes on you. There are always eyes on you, right?
Yeah.
So it is part of your responsibility to make the best of yourself in your life, because someone is always looking up to you. So whether that be your friends around you don't realise, or you've got kids and they're looking up to you, it's something that people should use as their motivation, because it's a way of saying, right, I have a responsibility in life to make my life the best life it could possibly be. Because I need to be a role model to somebody looking down to say, well, if he can do that, then I can do that. But it's not good if you just rock up every day and you're just trying to do just enough.
But
just be average.
You're thinking like that because of who you are and how you would think and how I would think. But there's some people out there. What I'm saying is they're selfish. They don't want to think. They don't want to feel like there's eyes on me and I'm responsible for how kids are going to be acting. They don't care.
No, I understand. No. What I'm saying is that this is what I mean is people should always use it as a motivation to make the best of them life. Not for selfish manners, because I would argue, why would I not? It's not me being selfish if I turn around and say, well, I don't care if I'm a role model, I'm not going to try and make the best of my life. That's not selfish, that's stupid. Yeah. Like, it's a waste. I have an existence on this earth and I'm not going to, because I don't want to be a role model to somebody, I'm not going to try and make the best of myself. Forget the fact that will make a better life for me. Do you see what I mean? So I don't really factor into whether we're selfish or not. You might have people who turn around and say, right, I'm not going to directly give back to somebody, but that doesn't mean that they can't say, I'm going to make the best of myself. Because even if they like it or not, the picture that's being sent out is giving somebody kind of the right role model to say these things are achievable. If you've got somebody who's sitting around and saying, well, I'm not going to try because I don't feel I need to be a role model for my son and my daughter, I wouldn't argue that's selfish. That's selfish, that's lazy, that's wasteful. You're consuming air and space on this earth that somebody who's going to make a part of something of their life could be using instead. Yeah. I would say that's more of I think for me is that sense of responsibility is what people should use to motivate them and drive them. So if they're always looking at, right, when they're hitting adversity or when they're finding reasons to pursue their passion, they look at, this is part of their whys. My whys are, I have a responsibility to my friends around me to show them what's possible to help bring them up. I have a responsibility to my wife, well not my wife because I don't have one, but I have a responsibility to my wife to be that rock that she can look up to look after. I have a responsibility to my children, to my grandchildren, to show them that they can pursue a passion in life and anything is possible, and I don't want them to be constricted. It fundamentally kind of falls back to an underlying motivator for you, rather than simply a sense of, this is a role I choose to take on in life. This is a role that exists in everybody in life, and actually, this is why I should aim to do everything I can in my time that I have here, because I am a role model to people where I might not even know I'm a role model to. If they want to go one step beyond and then start actively giving back, then even better. That increases the picture of themselves. But fundamentally, I think that everybody has that sense of responsibility in them. They're not just, I don't think everybody is, one, using it to help as their motivator, and two, maybe isn't always keeping in their mind, actually, some of the stuff I'm doing, people around me are susceptible to. Because I don't think a lot of people are not selfish, they're just not paying attention. Yeah. When they're doing all these things, when they're out and they're out and about and they're snapping themselves and they're all drunk and waking up in the morning and this, that and the other, and how that's manifesting and how it's being seen out, I just don't think they're seeing the importance of it. When you hold them to account on it, all of a sudden, they start to act differently. Hey Ben, I was noticing that you were letting yourself slack on this, and I've noticed that, and because you've been slacking, I've been slacking. Or they might turn around and say, geez, I don't know how you do that, I'm starting putting in work because I see you putting in work. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going out to try that, but that gives you that sense of, oh, hold on, actually, they see me working. Now, whenever I feel like I might get down, all of a sudden, I've got another driver behind me. I can't get lazy, because I know I've got this person, this person, this person, this person expecting of me. Yeah, it's almost, it's the degree of, I was saying to someone, they were like, is that not putting unnecessary pressure on yourself? I'm like, no, not really. It's creating another reason that I need to persist. It's creating another lack of excuse for me. It's not an additional pressure, because my level of pressure is I have an high expectation of myself. I just have a high expectation of myself. This is just a trigger mechanism that says, right, if I'm going to get lazy, I'll turn around and be like, hold on, you can't afford to get lazy. There's too many people depending on you. There's too many people looking up to you.
It's a little bit like, because I put on a bit of terrier, put on a bit of weight recently, but I put it out there that I've gone backwards in terms of my weight and my physique and everything, and I put it out there to say I'm going to change it, and it's sort of like putting pressure on, not pressure on myself, but it's like another reason to say, you know what, I need to follow up on what I'm doing, do what I say I'm doing.
But then in putting that out there, say, what is it? It's 12-week plan, I think.
Yeah.
12 weeks from now, somebody who sees that picture, who's one of your followers on Facebook or Instagram or any of your friends, they see it. Wow, Leon can do that. I can do it, and that's what I mean. You will become a role model for certain people that you don't realise that. It may not be until 2 years down the line you see somebody who's got in a great shape, and I'll be like, yeah, do you know what? I saw you get in a shape, so I thought I'm going to get in a shape.
Yeah.
But that's understanding everything that's out there. People can see. You may not instantly know it. But because you don't instantly know it, always make sure that you're staying on your A game. And this is why I love that poem, because it just basically says, every day, never be, your deepest fear is not that you are inadequate and that you are insufficient. People's deepest fear is they are powerful beyond measure, but they fail to push themselves to fully excel. They look for reasons to fit in. Don't look to fit in. Look to stand out and get other people to follow within you in everything that you do every day. I love it. I'm still planning to get it. But that's just that, and I just love the underlying premise of it.
You don't have any tattoos, do you?
No, I'm planning to get. That's the only one I'm planning to get. Because I was like, if I get a tattoo, it's got to mean something.
How long have you been planning to get that tattoo?
It's got a lot of words
How
on it.
many verses are you getting on that? Because it's got like
The whole thing.
You got the whole thing.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna have to get it down my back on the scripture.
Yeah, buddy.
So, but that's what I mean, because because I'm a great believer in that.
Yeah.
Rise up and get other people to rise up around you. Understand that there's always someone watching you. We have a responsibility as individuals, each one of us, to make sure that we make the best out of our lives, not simply for ourselves, but for future generations before us. Again, it's back to when I put in the one we were doing on sales. It says, as a common courtesy, can you leave the bathroom cleaner than when you found it? And it's the same thing. When you leave this earth, can you leave it having made it in some way better than it was when you landed on it?
Yeah, build a legacy.
So, I think we'll wrap it up for that one. We'll probably catch you either on the next video on it'll probably be the podcast next week, won't it?
Yeah.
So we'll catch you on the podcast next week. Until then, as always, life's only as good as your mindset, so stay positive, stay driven, and we'll catch you soon.
Peace.